Okay, here we are in Prague, and I'm here with another language lover, Language Simp.
Hello.
Very different approaches. My name's Tim Keeley, a professor of cross-cultural management.
Я не шпион! Я не шпион! Я умоляю! Oh, hey, look at you there. Do you want to speak Russian like me? Send me all your money.
So it should be a very interesting interview that's going on here. But what do you have, about 1.4 million subscribers?
I think I've got maybe 1.46 million, but who's counting?
What was the whole purpose of your channel in that sense?
So I'll tell you what, I fell in love with languages in 2019, but all throughout my life I wanted to become a YouTuber. I've been doing it for 2 years.
2 years and you hit that number.
Yes.
Some people have been around 10, 20 years and don't even get close to it.
It happens. I don't know. I came in, I shook up the landscape a little.
Yeah, well, you're doing something right there. I think you'll see that we have the same goals in mind of spreading the love of languages and language learning, but very different approaches. So tell me, what is your approach?
Approach for getting people into languages, which is, of course, just as it is with you, it's my favorite hobby, it's my passion in life. I think that I like to approach it from a comedic standpoint, more of a fun first type mentality. It's a really academic domain, but it doesn't have to be, because language is everything. It's not just the grammar. It's not just the studious act of actually sitting down and reading books.
Yeah.
It's also just communication with everybody. And
Right.
you're talking
Yeah.
to people. It's life, and experiencing it through another language is the most fun thing I've ever done in my life, and I'm addicted and I can't stop.
I've been a professor for 32 years, so I have a certain style of lecturing, though my field is actually cross-cultural management. In that, I focus on the psychological and attitudinal factors, see how academic it sounds, facilitate or hinder foreign language acquisition and cultural adaptation.
Interesting.
Okay, so big words there. So I get the academic side. But I've also been to 99 countries and studied 47 languages.
That's a lot.
It's kind of like a mix of the two going on there. So what impression did you get then, honestly, from watching my videos?
And I have been watching your videos as of lately. They're very
Great.
good. I must say, you've got a great team behind them and you do a great job. Very informative, which is quite different than what I'm doing. Interesting,
Thank you.
very entertaining. Well, your channel is very sophisticated, intelligent, educative.
Wait, yours is intelligent also, because you have to have that intelligence in order to make the jokes that you make.
That is true. I think there's a lot of layers to mine. I always tell people, if you watch the video, depending on your knowledge, there might be 60 jokes in the video, and 57 of them might fly over your head. But also, I think the topics you're choosing are just really good. I think that when you're doing, I can't even remember off the top of my head, but you're talking about different language families.
Even when they're not families, for example, maybe you watch the one about the Kanjiken or the Han-Zi-Quan in Chinese, or East Asian cultural sphere, where I show the connection between Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, and Japanese, which are all from different families.
Yeah, but there's always a connection somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
and
There's
that
always
is
something to find.
writing.
Yeah.
In the history. Well, I'm really happy to hear, after watching your videos, that you appreciate what I do.
Absolutely.
Because I look at yours and I say, wow, this guy really knows how to entertain. I guess you have a team helping you.
I do everything alone.
Oh, you do everything alone?
I do everything for my videos. I have had one person who helps me sometimes.
Where'd you get
with
the
scripts.
information about Japanese then? ChatGPT?
Well, this is exactly what I'm saying. No, I do have one friend.
Yeah.
His name is he has a YouTube channel. It's Mildly Linguistic. And he does help me with some script writing, and especially for Japanese stuff, because he lives in Japan. He's been studying the language for a really long time.
Right.
But in terms of editing, I edit and write 98% of my stuff. And
Wow, you're busy.
it takes me weeks to come up with a script sometimes. If you look at my channel, often videos don't come out for a month at a time and stuff. Everyone's, when's the next video?
And what was amazing to me is that in the video I watched, you did a commercial that had nothing to do with language.
Which one was that?
It was something with hair or something?
Oh, Manscaped.
Manscaped,
I think. Yeah, oh, great razors. But
I wish I was a cat. I mean, I'm hairy like a cat, and that's why I'm proud to say that this video is sponsored by manscaped.com. But wait, if you don't have a beard, don't skip this part. I love it because it has 20 different length settings, foldable with a zoom wheel that gives you the flexibility to look like a pretentiously perfectly groomed Frenchman or a GigaChat American lumberjack, depending on your taste.
I mean, this video is not sponsored, but
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I appreciate that. I get sponsors.
So you get sponsors who they look at you and say, you reach a really wide section of the population here, and it's not just, it could be a casual language learner or somebody who likes your comedic style.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be about language. So
I found to be enough people interested in male grooming.
Yeah, and did you have your own certain look with
Of
your
course,
nice trim beard
I've had a mustache in the
everything?
past, a huge beard actually back in the day.
Yeah, my ideas come from things that I've noticed. For example, I did a video where I showed that grammatically and structurally, Chinese, Vietnamese, Thai, Lao, Malay, and Indonesian have characteristics which help you learn one another. Most people would say, how's that? You know, they're totally different. You're also a language lover, you study languages, but you have so many different ideas. I mean, you're doing languages which you haven't even really studied, but you find out enough about them to stay with the truth.
Yeah.
And you be informative about it in an interesting way. So where do those ideas come from?
They always come from some sort of outside inspiration. I see something, a lot of times I see something in a different niche, completely unrelated, people playing, you know, talking about basketball or describing how to shoot a basketball or just videos about anything, like just comedy videos on YouTube, and I just kind of get inspiration. What can I do with languages? And I'll tell you what, once I come up with an idea, I kid you not, when I have an idea and I have a list of ideas on my phone, it takes 6 months to a year before that's actually realized. The video that has the most views on my channel on YouTube has about 108 million views. Yeah, it's a sketch about like a police officer who pulls me over and I pretend to not speak English.
A cop is pulling me over for speeding? I'm gonna pretend like I don't speak English.
You are doing 90 to 5.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Kul khara.
Why are you filming me? Stop running.
Нет, заткнись.
Понимаю русский.
Oh shit, dead end.
Looks like you're stuck.
Je suis français, je comprends pas.
Prove que t'es français. Put your hands above the water.
No sé nadar.
No me importa. Why's your phone in Danish?
How did you do that, though?
Well, it's, I mean...
Did you actually have a police officer pull you over? I mean,
It's a fake police officer, but he's in costume.
Yeah,
and
but you
whatnot.
set up the whole scene and everything. Okay.
Yeah, and like that is 108 million views, and that
that's
was
a lot of
years.
work.
Every joke, you know, we speak Danish, we speak Russian, we speak Portuguese and French and Arabic in the video, and it's just, it came together so well. And so I'm a perfectionist. If you look at my channel, there aren't that many uploads. You know, it takes me a long time sometimes, but it's because I can't put out stuff I'm not passionate about.
My first impression was this guy's joking with languages, but then when I watched the video, I said, wow, that could encourage people.
You know, you're not the first person at the gathering to tell me that I mean, you didn't say this strongly, but people have told me they actually hated me until they looked deeper, so it is kind of interesting.
How can somebody hate somebody who's so successful unless they're envious for some stupid reason? I mean, because if people here also love languages and then want to spread the idea of learning various languages, connecting throughout the world in different cultures, have greater understanding and all those things that come with it, how can you put down somebody who has such success in doing a language channel? I think the way that you explained Japanese was enough to get people interested in it and say, wow, this is quite different. It has these characteristics. Wow, I don't know any other language that does. I'm going to try that. Have you ever, for example, done any comparisons like Japanese, Korean, because they had the same cultural background there, the same politeness systems?
You know, I haven't done any comparisons yet. I've never done anything with Korean, so maybe that'll be my first dive into researching.
Yeah, well, you'll have some of the Korean pop culture and everything.
Yeah.
You might want to try that one. Let's talk about the actual work, the script writing, because you do all that too. Well, my approach is it's very methodical, analytical. Now, what about you? Because you have a different approach here. You would be entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's kind of a starving artist approach. It's where, so I have a concept kind of baking in the oven for a year, and then I finally decide to do it, and then I get to the script writing phase.
Well, when baking it, so that means you sleep on it at times?
Sleep thinking. I'm walking down the street, I'm thinking, oh, I know I want to do that one day.
How often would that come up? Once a month, once a week?
Like, I'm always thinking about that stuff.
Always,
I walk into the bathroom or something out of an event here.
But a certain video, I mean, throughout a year would come to you daily or come to you monthly or weekly?
Come to me daily, but sometimes it'll hibernate for a few months or something. But once it comes time to script write, it's the first week is always pretty kind of grueling. Like I just struggle. I sit in front of my computer, the hours pass, and I don't even know, because it's my full-time job what I do. But I almost don't even know what I did all day. Sometimes I don't have a lot at the end of the day, so it takes a while. But and then usually it all comes out in like 2 hours, just one random day. It's a creativity thing, and I'll do everything to try to jog my memory or my creativity. I'll be in a Starbucks, I'll be walking down the street, I'll be showering 8 times in a day, just all these, going to the gym, doing gym classes or something.
Yeah.
And eventually it just hits, and then a few more days of really revising and I'll perform my script to my friends on Discord, to a bunch of different people, get their
When you say
feedback.
perform, actually in a video or?
No, so just orally, but I'll say it in the way like, what's going on, guys? My name is Language Simp, Assalamu alaikum, и добро пожаловать на мой канал, like the way I do, as if I was making the video, so they get the whole. And then I have a guy, the same guy, Mildly Linguistic on YouTube, who will help me and make sure I didn't say anything too controversial, or that I'm not accidentally going to offend people, because that's obviously not the goal, even though I can be a little provocative for the fun. Yeah, and then once I have the script completely done and I'm happy, I have a teleprompter and I go in my mom's basement behind there's like a cement wall in the back that's really ugly, but it's kind of funny. It looks like I'm in a dungeon.
Yeah.
And I set up that teleprompter and I perform it. But the problem is I can't read like a normal person. Like I have a pretty bad eye problem, like a lazy eye that drifts off to the side. So when I try to read, my eyes can't focus on the text. So like,
so you need real big or what?
Even with real big, it's a little easier with real big, but by the time I'm done filming, like I'm in a lot of pain and like I kind of have to retire for a day or two type thing. But so it's really, and it's harder for other languages. So if I do something in Russian or
I run it real slow, and then I'll say da 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 da.
Actually, what I do is I used to run it really slow, but it's so hard to find the sweet spot because you have to get the font text size, and then you also have to do the speed. So what I do now is I just know where I'm putting my edits since I'm editing it myself, and I'll just have one block of text, and then I'll manually like lean forward and zoom up so that I just have that block, and then I'll kind of memorize it and try to keep my eyes straight, because as you can see, this eye stick out to the side. I can kind of make it move.
Moves too, right?
Yeah, so if I try to focus on you, it goes out.
You're wearing glasses though when you're doing it, right? Or you're not?
Yes, honestly, there are videos I have where I don't wear glasses.
Yeah.
That's how you know the video is not scripted. Like when I do a video like my progress in German in 30 days, I'm not wearing glasses, so you know I'm not cheating. Yeah.
But folks, I don't think that's cheating, because I've lectured for 32 years at universities around the world, and I tell you, making a video without a teleprompter is hell.
It's hard.
When you're making a video, especially if you're using a foreign language, and then you're nervous that even though if you speak that language well, that you get everything right.
It's fun to talk about those intricacies of the creator world. Not everyone can relate to teleprompter speeds and stuff.
I think you guys out there have to appreciate the quality of our videos. I'll put myself in there too.
100%.
When you realize how much goes into it and trying to sit there and produce. I will produce sometimes 2 hours and 50 minutes for a 10-minute video.
Oh yeah, same. And often, the worst thing I think about what I do is 50% of the videos never get uploaded too.
Really?
Yeah. I'm such a perfection. Like if I don't love it, it's
But
so
do you
hard.
ever go back and redo it then, or they just
I always
die?
say I will. I don't think I've ever uploaded something that I sat on for a while. It's a flaw, but I think it keeps the quality up.
So okay. So that you have an amazing approach, because when people talking about how to succeed in YouTube, etc., the idea is, you need 2 videos a week or whatever.
Yep.
But your idea is, no, I go for the pure quality, something that my audience is looking for. They'll wait for it. When it comes, I'll get the views. I mean, if you have one video that has 400, 500, 600,000, or a million, or 2 million, or 108 million, then that equals sometimes 560 videos of somebody who's been struggling.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
In terms of what, it helps you as a job, right?
Yeah, I used to feel really bad actually about that, because I would meet other YouTubers and I would feel bad. They're always saying, why aren't you uploading every week? And it was mentally draining for me, because I quit my engineering job to do this full time, but I felt like I wasn't having enough output. But I became kind of healthier with that, and I figured out kind of my rhythm, making sure I'm making enough money, but keeping the quality where I want it to be.
But it took a while till it took off, so weren't you kind of nervous?
It took off instantly.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, you're lucky. You were an engineer before you quit your job to do this.
Instantly meaning like a week or two. Yeah, it was a nice stable income. I enjoyed it, but I think I mentioned earlier, my entire life, I wanted to be a YouTuber.
You wanted to be a YouTuber,
and then I fell in love with languages, and I finally found that thing to do it with.
Yeah.
And I had to. I was waiting for that moment. I told myself, if I make 25% of what I make engineering, I'm out. And then I made it.
I bet you're making more now.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? All my bosses, everybody in this engineering firm, hundreds of people, they all were watching my videos in the office. Like I got too big. They all knew that I was doing this.
Yeah.
They'd be watching my videos in the office, and they kind of knew I was going to quit. It's funny.
Okay.
But shout out to all the Brazilians that I worked with at that engineering firm. Thank you for all the phrases that I now know in Brazilian Portuguese.
Wow, that's incredible. That's quite a move. See, for me, I retired and then I did it. It was an encouragement to spread your knowledge. Basically, I don't think I'm anything really that special. People say I have some kind of natural born gifts. I think that's bullshit. It's a lot of hard work.
It is.
The only thing is, when I was 18, I spoke English and Spanish, mainly Cubano, because I'm from South Florida.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And then I went to Colombia and I started speaking Colombiano. But in Colombia, I studied French, German, and Portuguese. And then I went on from there. I went to study in Switzerland,
You just
and
got
then
hooked. You
Poland, and
couldn't
on and
stop.
on and on and on and on. And then I wound up immigrating to Japan in 1981.
Wow.
So, I have this long 99 countries, 47 languages I studied, 30 or more I used a lot, etc. So I had all that experience. But you were brave. You quit. But you did get in. You saw you're successful first before you quit your job.
I did, yes, but I knew I wanted to quit my job. So you're saying that I'm a chicken because I didn't quit before?
Yeah, quit first. I can do it. Yeah, please, I'll succeed.
No, I was doing it on the side for a while, but it was just frustrating because I'd be at work and
You need a lot of time to do
all I
it.
could think about though was
okay, so-
languages
yeah.
and Language Simp and what I
Yeah.
wanted to make, and it was starting to affect me a little bit.
Why did you? Okay, so being away from the U.S., I had no idea what that meant. Simp. I had to ask him, why did he call himself simp?
Basically, a simp is a guy who kind of goes after a woman, but the woman doesn't really want him. Maybe she's kind of using him for like money
Languages
or
don't
just
want
like.
you?
Well, a simp is someone like, if I simp for a woman, it means like I'm just obsessed with her. Like I'd do
Yeah,
anything,
yeah,
I'd
okay.
die for her, even though she doesn't like,
Right,
she's not
right,
gonna die
right,
for me
right,
type thing. So it's just that, it's a way to illustrate in a very Gen Z.
So you'll go for a
young way.
language even if it's not easy enough for you to learn well.
Exactly. Even if I struggle, and I do struggle because my reading problem's tough, but it's still, I just want it, so I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm a simp for
All
it.
right. Now I don't want to hear any excuses. Do you know Olga?
I do.
Okay, she's blind and she learns.
I know.
language.
I know. Trust me. When I
So
met
you
her,
can't
I
blame
met her
yourself.
on a boat in Budapest.
Yeah.
And she's fantastic. And yes, exactly. That's what I think all the time. When I see people, it's just, everyone's got their
Yeah.
own struggles.
So we did interviews yesterday, and the whole time, just slowly amazed filming, she's using her braille with things, and so. Yeah, we've become good friends, and she consults. She's learning Japanese, and I was helping her find
cool.
the textbooks and everything. It's amazing because she has to find the textbooks in Japanese which the braille can read, so that she can learn it.
Is it different braille? Like, does she have to learn a
Yeah,
different
because
braille system?
it's tenji in Japan, and ten means dot, and G means letter. So
Okay.
yeah, the different braille systems.
Yeah, so interesting.
What language have you been studying? Which one do you like a lot?
So I would say that, I've flirted with a lot of languages. That's the term I use, flirting. I don't know
Okay.
if people say that. But
Yeah.
my best languages are French, Spanish, and Russian in that order. I must say, I'm not nearly as decorated as so many people here, and I'm very
Right.
humbled every time I come to these things. But I haven't been at it for too long. That's my excuse, but no excuses. But so French, Spanish, Russian, and then I flirted a lot with Portuguese, Danish,
Am I allowed to
Arabic.
ask? Are you still in your 20s? You're still younger, mid-20s?
How old do you think I am?
26.
25.
25.
26 in 1 month. Not,
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Yeah. But what I really want to do in this moment is just my 3 best languages. I want to reach that C2, like master. I'm a perfectionist.
Well, keep in mind, 26 are 3 languages plus English. You got 4. That's not bad if you've done really deep work and then you flirted with the other ones.
Exactly.
You're on track.
Exactly. I
You're
feel on track, and I
Yeah,
look forward to
okay.
being at these events
Yeah.
in 10 years.
So doing the math, I have more than 30 years more than you studying
Yeah.
languages. So if you imagine if you go at this pace, then we're going to say, oh yeah, well the first 16 languages I feel really confident in. These 20 here, I understand.
These 20
but
I'm a little rougher
Yeah,
in, but
yeah.
I can't wait to be able to say that.
So it just happens. It's step by step.
Got to stick at it.
Yeah, I think 26 years old. For me, it's a whole new world. So, what do you think about the future?
Yeah, so I'll tell you in the short term what I'm looking forward to doing. Right now, I'm traveling for the first time in a long time, in the sense of I'm going to travel for many months, which will be the first time. I've only spent probably 25 days out of the country in total in my life. So this is my first time
really?
that I'm actually getting out and going to spend more time around. You're an inspiration.
You got so much in front of you. You're already successful in what you're doing. That's great.
But one thing I want to start doing a lot more frequently, I started this concept of live streaming myself, learning languages. So actually you watch me do it live.
Is that as popular what you're doing with your other videos?
I mean, yeah, I have concurrent, maybe 400 to 2,000 people watching at a time. And
Really?
then, like I did a video, it's maybe 2 hours of me learning Polish for 2 hours just learning it. It's got like 150,000
Ale Polski to
views.
jest bardzo trudny język.
Bardzo trudny.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, so I did that and it got hundreds of thousands of views. I've done it with German, I've done it with Russian, and it's
What are the people looking for when they're doing it? Are some people just entertainment, or some people trying to get ideas of how you approach it?
so it's a few different things. I think I can keep it entertaining for them, so people just like watching because of my personality.
You make
Then-
jokes while you're learning.
Yeah, and then a lot of people are learning the language, so they just kind of learn with me. A lot of people are natives who just think it's really fun to watch an American struggle through their language. And then a lot of people just watch and they get inspired, or they say, oh wow, this is kind of how he learns. And then they kind of learn from that. And I've had so many messages from people saying, you've inspired me to do this, and now I'm studying the same way you do.
This video's worked out well because we had 2 different approaches to spreading our love to languages. We have different results. You need mine for the deep dive into things, grab the information. You need yours to get excited about it, to get people first interested in coming into it.
But I'm sure you inspire people as well to get started. I think the biggest thing, it's such a scary hobby for someone who doesn't know anything, you know?
Yeah.
I promise, if you get started, it's not that bad. Watch his videos, watch my videos, feed your brain.
Yeah.
You'll love it. Just dive into it. It's the most rewarding hobby on the
Oh, it
planet.
is. Really like you. I
appreciate
really
that.
like your video.
It's great to know that you don't.
It's great to get
It's great to know
you.
that you don't have a
Yeah.
bad taste in your mouth anymore.
No,
for me,
no,
'cause
no.